Hi, this is Gila. So I think most people are aware that there is an ongoing full-scale invasion of the Ukraine by Russia. I actually visited the Ukraine a few years ago. I went to Lviv, which is right in the west. It used to be part of Poland. It was Lvov, but it's Lviv. Well, that's the Ukrainian name. I think Lvov is the Russian name. And by the way, Ukrainian and Russian are two different languages. Yes, they're related, but the Ukraine is not really Russia. It's a lot more complicated history of moving people there in the past and so on, but we won't go into that. There are other people more knowledgeable than I about the whole history of the Ukraine. But Lviv is a very beautiful city. It's got some lovely buildings. I took some nice pictures when I was there, and as a Westerner, things were relatively cheap. It doesn't cost so much if you're on Western salaries to actually visit there and live there. But obviously now it's another matter entirely. I actually did go via Kiev. Unfortunately, my flight was delayed by several hours when I went there. This was 2017. And I ended up being looked after by a wonderful old gentleman. He was so kind to me because I didn't really speak Ukrainian or Russian. I learnt a few words of Ukrainian for the trip, which I've actually forgotten now, but I learnt them because I try and learn a little bit of the language of wherever I'm going. Even just a few words really make a huge difference. And he spoke to me in rather broken English. I spoke to him in very broken Ukrainian, and his wife also spoke to me in a bit of Hebrew, and I spoke in a bit of Hebrew too. My Hebrew isn't fantastic, but it was a very interesting mix of languages. But anyway, he looked after me because it was really scary, actually. Nothing like what they're going through now, I hasten to add. But turning up at 3 o'clock in the morning at Kiev airport, these soldiers came out to guard everything, and our flight finally arrived 7 hours late or something crazy. And we got put up in a little hotel for about 3 hours or something in Kiev. So I saw a little bit of Kiev, not a lot. Everybody seemed very nice. Actually, in Lviv, which, as I say, is right in the west, so that's why everybody's going there. It's also the second largest city in the Ukraine. So it's furthest away from the Russian invasion. And I found a very, very nice cafe/restaurant where there's a marvellous selection of Scottish whiskies, a whole wall full of them. They also had a wall full of whiskies from around the world, other countries other than Scotland, but I've never seen so many Scottish whiskies outside of Scotland. It was a very nice watering hole to go to. The reason I went to Lviv is I'm actually a professional composer, and a piece of mine was being performed there in this competition for composers in Lviv. Anyway, that was my visit then, and so I feel certain little sense of connection, obviously. Not nearly as much as somebody who knows the place, knows the whole country a lot better than me. And of course, Putin's full-scale invasion will only encourage, I think, China to do the same to Taiwan, which they've been wanting to do for many years. This is open season for nationalist aspirations, shall we say, from huge, big countries. And sadly, yes, it does go back to the fact that US 2020 was stolen. There's loads of evidence of it. Certainly I found it clear on the night itself, and the following day rather, when suddenly all these mysterious ballots turned up. Perhaps YouTube will strike this video for mentioning these banned words, but I'm kind of sick and tired of all that nonsense as well. I'm tired of being censored. We need to reclaim freedom and human rights and being able to argue and speak our truths and express our opinions openly. That's another matter entirely. But if President Trump had been there, as he rightfully should have been, I think a lot of these things probably wouldn't have happened, or at least wouldn't have happened in the way they have. Anyway, feeling for the people of the Ukraine at the moment, remembering some very nice people I met when I was briefly there. I don't quite know what's going to happen. I imagine Russia will win, but I think it will be very expensive because I think lots of Ukrainians are going to stand up and fight. Many are trying to flee for understandable reasons, and that's very difficult. There's loads of lines of traffic, loads of lines trying to even get just a bit of money out. War is so unnecessary, so appalling, so sad. Thank you so much for listening. Take care, be safe, and have a good weekend if you can. Bye.